Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, everybody, Charles here, and welcome to another great show. Welcome to the Charles Matthews Show. I'm your host, Charles Matthews. Listen, we got a great show today. Got my guests going on. We had to change some stuff up because we wanted to make sure we get this message out there. Great new book coming out here just for you, and I want to make sure you get it. So without further ado, let's not waste no more time and bring her on the show. Sharon, where are you? Where are you?
Woo! Good morning.
How you doing?
I am awesome today. How are you today, Charles?
I'm great. I'm great. So, did you get the watch party going? Everything is good?
Bless his heart. He's having issues with me and this social media thing.
Don't worry.
I'm not sure.
No, we'll get it going. We'll get it going. If you're watching, help her out, share it, let everybody know that she's on the show, push it out there, push the button, let everybody know that you're there.
Yeah, push the button.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Before we move on, where are you calling in from?
Atlanta, Georgia Metro.
Oh my goodness, you got the heat going on right now.
It doesn't know what it wants to do. Cold in the 40s just 2 days ago with thunderstorms, and yesterday is 78 degrees sunshine. I don't know.
You said cold in the 40s. Cold in the 40s. Cold. That ain't cold. Sorry to tell you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Forget it. You've had colder weather, right?
Yeah, I'm like, she said cold in the 40s. I was like, what? Okay.
No. Wham. They didn't even get snow.
All right. So listen, born and raised, where are you from?
I'm from San Antonio, Texas, River City.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. So growing up, what the little girl in you, what were you dreaming about doing? You know, how did you grow up? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
I grew up as a tomboy, and I loved all sports. I loved reading. I was big about reading. And so we were in the church a lot because my parents were raised in the church. They were from the country. And school was a big thing. I never was one to skip school. If I was out of school, it was because I was really sick or something, but I didn't skip school. And so it was church on Sundays all day. We could play on Saturday after you get up and clean your room and finish your other chores. So that's what that was like. And if you messed up, consequences were quick and fast. You would know. Why are you laughing?
Yes, I grew up in that kind of era, so I knew what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Like you duck and you bob and weave.
The worst, Charles, go get your switch.
Yep.
I gotta pick it out.
Yeah. I'm like, I never understood why they sent us to go get it.
Because it's more torment.
Yeah, like you're walking
real slow.
Exactly. Taking slow time. I ain't gonna get with you. And then you're trying to pick it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little one that was weak, and then they send you back to get another one. So that didn't work for me.
Mine was the belt, so I was different. It's all good. But what the funny thing is, you learn from it. I think nowadays, we got the best manners, education, because, straight and narrow. That's what it was.
They didn't play. They were on you. And about the belt, I made a mistake one day when my mom went to swing it. I reached up and grabbed it.
Yep. Okay, let me think. Oh, so you think you're big now? Oh, you think you run? Yeah.
Ooh, I realized midway. That was a mistake. That was a mistake.
Yeah. But it's the culture, and you live, and then you grow and you learn from different things.
Yeah.
So how'd you find out about your family background? Like, doing your research and wanting to get into stuff like that.
Actually, my father started the research as far as the family history. When he was going back, so in the late 70s, 80s, he started collecting family pictures and the family history. So in the early 90s, he and I were conversating, and I learned more about it. And he was talking. I said, well, why do we move so much? It was annoying because of your work. And then when he explained, well, it was civil rights and what he was doing, and I was like, oh, okay. I was just annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Moving, changing friends every time. But when I learned that he was deep in the trenches of trying to integrate the phone company and the discourse that he was going through, I had more of an appreciation for him and what he did. Yeah.
Right. So then doing the research, what were the little things that you found out that really said, wow, that like threw you off that you didn't know? Because a lot of us don't dive into our history. And we,
Hmm.
we got history scholars and doctors from way back, but we just don't know because we don't dive into it.
Right. The my biggest wow was when I was talking to the eldest son, his brother. He was the one that was kind of quiet and well mannered, and I loved him. He had horses, Uncle Buddy, we called him, but he was Webb. That's where I got the story of our great grandfather who was kidnapped at the age of 13
Okay.
while fishing for family dinner in Africa. And I was recording him and listening. He said, yeah. And he told me his name as best he could say it. I believe
Right.
I spelled it best I could. I wasn't sure. But the young gentleman, he was scared and he was handcuffed and treated poorly and in some dark place. And I figured out what it was for a long time without his family, and then put on a ship. And he said they went to Florida and he watched the stars because he wanted to be able to navigate back home, which he never made it. And the first stop was Cuba, he said, and then
Hmm.
Florida. I even have the names of the families he was, sold to: Florida, Kentucky, and then Texas, when our name finally became Bennett. My second wow, going through a file cabinet, helping, and there's this large folder, NAACP award signed by Roy Wilkins and C.D. Owens, for my
Okay.
father doing voting registration, where he was trying to get Black people registered to vote. And he had a photographic memory. Everything he did, he remembered, saw, or heard. And so he always graduated with honors, top of the class. So he would teach them the answers to tests if they were given tests. If they felt they couldn't remember, he would go with them, said he needed to register and get a paper. Also, he would do the test. And when the moderator wasn't there looking, he would give the person the test, tear his up, and leave and say he changed his mind. That
Mm.
way they passed.
Okay.
I mean, they were not being right with us. It
Mhm.
wasn't fair. So we had to play the game, and he did. And he helped a lot of people get registered. And then he had an award from Rosa Parks, Wall of Tolerance. And I found out his name is on the Wall of Tolerance, and just a whole list of things. And I'm like, yo, from senators, for a letter from Bill Clinton. I'm like, excuse me, why didn't I know about this before? He was just daddy to me.
Right. And he didn't have it on the wall or anything. He didn't put it up. He's not showing it off or anything like
No,
that.
he was being humble. I mean, today people post everything. Does this look good at this age of 60? My birthday's coming up in 2 weeks or whatever. Whatever. Everybody has a birthday come around every year. We just post every little thing. And he was just not that way. And he didn't tell a lot of people. So
Yeah, so that's just the humble greatness that he had. Like he wasn't doing it for accolades. He was just doing it because it was the right thing to
it
do.
was the right thing to do. It needed to be done. And he had experienced some things. So yeah, he had to get in the fight. Mm-hmm.
All right, so then you're finding all these gems. I like to call them gems because that's what they are. You're
Uh-huh.
finding all these gems, and you're like, okay, I got to do something with these gems. When did you
Right.
decide to take it to that next level?
Oh my God. Because I was saving it mostly for family history type book. And I tried to do that, but more came out later. And I said, if I don't do it, who's going to do it?
Right.
Right. And he didn't want, initially in the 90s, he didn't want me putting a lot of things in the book. He said, just let it be family history like an album, but I don't want people to know what all I went through.
Hmm.
That age thing again. It's like, that's embarrassing.
Right.
No, it's not. So I've been collecting, been writing, got emails from him and everything. But he said, I'm going to tell you this, but don't put that in there. I'm going to tell you that.
It's coming out to be a really thin book.
More like a letter.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm going to do it. And it
Yeah.
took me a while, and COVID slowed me up. Daddy passed and everything. I'm like, what are you going to do now? Nobody can get a switch. What are you going to do now? So I put it in because I think it enriches the story.
Right.
Here he is a kid and he comes and he becomes the president of the Colored People's Union.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll tell you about that. That's interesting. And, I'll follow your questions. We'll see.
So you're taking time. Now, the question is, what made you want to jump to write this book? Because some people are scared to write the book. They're like, oh, I don't know, I have a story to tell, and you dive into it. People are like, you tell people, oh, I think I'm going to write a book, and then you have the negative and the naysayers, and like, oh, do you really want to do that? Tell us about that journey, just to start putting the pen to paper.
One of my things, until the lions tell their stories, it will always glorify the hunters. It will always be from the perspective of the hunters. We have to tell our stories because a lot is lost. They didn't care about it. Stuff was burnt because we didn't matter. And I just felt more connected, especially finding out about my great-grandfather who lived until 107. So he saw several of the great-grandchildren.
Right.
And so my thing was journaling. And I just started writing it and trying to put it together and give it from my father's voice. Because he he was good at storytelling. They would always get together on the weekends, talk about each other, do the dozens. Like, you know how that party get, do some cards.
Yeah.
So I tried to give it with his voice. And so I started like journaling it and putting it together and try to do a sequence. I didn't know which order to go in. Then I determined, well, if you don't know these people, you need to start at the beginning, right? So they can get acclimated to what kind of person he is and where he's from, and get to know these people in the country, and his father who knocked out a cow because a little boy came to visit his daughter without permission. He punches the cow and the boy gets up and leaves. I guess that's the message. Po cow. But that hardcore country, it's like, so I just started doing it that way, and it was very difficult, but I felt it needed to be done because if not, it would be lost. And too many of our stories are lost. And we have that responsibility to pass our history on, because that's the way a lot of African Americans do. We pass it on through stories, quilts, blankets. It's engraved there. In Africa, we used to do it in our hair, the way we braided, told what tribe we were from and everything. So I'm just all about that. And that drove me to continue, because he deserves to be told. His story deserves to be told. So now an exhibit is going to represent him, honor him in Austin, Texas, the Bullock Museum. Yeah, so he'll be, the U.S. art people came to collect his items. Oh, that was hard. That was hard for me to let some of those things go, but I did. And so they're setting up the exhibit. It's a little delayed, but it'll open next month in Austin, Texas, the Bullock Museum of Texas History. It'll also be on their website. And then I just found that he's on Wikipedia now. So if you search him, his initials, L.E. Bennett, no spaces, that is his name. L.E. Bennett. No, it doesn't stand for anything that we know of.
It's just L.E.
Just initials. That's it. Don't know why. That was curious to me. His father named him.
Okay. So it's thing back then, it's like, the letters and the meaning, is it just easier to write? Because, a lot of times they didn't go back to school or what, I mean? So what is it that they're knowing that they're giving it easy to help the person get to the next level?
What was it? Because he was the youngest. He was the baby. So let's see. 15 kids, 3 died. So by the time they got to him, maybe he got tired. I don't know. The rest of them had names. Everybody else had names. I don't know. I wish I could go back, maybe do a seance.
It's hey, great grandpa. Why just L?
Why come? When he died, my dad was only 6, so he didn't get to interrogate him much. And if he was very close to his mother, but he said, I don't know.
Okay. So let me ask. So then why did you name the book Jewel of the South?
Oh, When I was interviewing one of the city council people from San Antonio, who he worked with in the community, she made that comment. She said, "Your dad was like a jewel being uncovered because he does so much and did so much. A lot of people didn't know. He didn't talk about things like that. He just did what he needed to do. He worked with a lot of notarized people there in the community. He helped with the plumbing, rehabbing on homes. He just did a lot. He even has things from the police department. He was on the board of a lot of companies. I'm just like, wow, that's a good title. I like that. Jewel. She said, yeah, he's the jewel of our South. I'm like, oh, I'm taking that. Boom.
Book title. So
Not
then,
paying you for it.
how long did it take you to write the book, edit the book? You changed it. You gotta say, no, I want to do this and do that. And before
Woo.
you're happy and satisfied and said, okay, here it is.
And I'm still gonna do one more edit. About a year.
Okay.
About a year, because I had to try and find people,
Right.
find other informations to confirm who he was and where he was and what he actually did.
Mm-hmm.
So that took time, contacting the phone company and getting into their records. Oh yeah, we didn't keep a lot, after that situation,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what she said? But keep calm. After the situation of integration,
Yeah.
uh, we burned a lot of things because the unions were separated. There
Mm-hmm.
was the colored people union and the regular union. What?
Right.
But they paid the same dues
Mm-hmm.
and they just didn't keep the records. Oh my. So I found someone else, two people that were in the union with him that was still living that confirmed, because one of them was the treasurer and the other guy was the vice president.
Okay.
That was amazing to catch them. And I took pictures with one of them. And so I had to back up the story. So it took time to get in there and get that, to get some articles together and to get permission to use the articles in the book. So yeah, took over
So
a year.
so moving forward, the
Mm-hmm.
way I'm gonna take your book and
Mm-hmm.
take it to the future right now. Okay. So your book, what you've read and learned and the struggles and everything, and
Mm-hmm.
then to look at us now in this generation, what do you take from it? What do you piece from it?
Ooh, I right away I feel like my dad would be really proud of those stepping up. Too many, though, think everything is okay and we don't need to do that anymore. We don't need to fight for our rights. But people of color, we still are underestimated and devalued. We do still need to step up and keep a watchful eye on things and fight for what's right for all people of color. It's just necessary. So I've been in a couple of protests as well. And he would be humbled and would love that, and me too. But I think that's the strength of the first civil rights movement that
Hmm.
helped the second civil rights movement to learn certain tactics and the way things were done. And nonviolence is the best way.
So what are you hoping from this book? What's the main goal from this book? Why do you really want to get this out there and do third chapter, rewrite it, another edit again, other stuff?
I know. Because I got an additional permission that came through and some comments from the book of people of stature
Hmm.
that have to be added. But my number one is to solidify his legacy in
Right.
history, to teach people about this person that existed. We have so many that were in the civil rights movement that no one knows about, so many that were abused, beaten,
Hmm.
killed because they just wanted to have equal rights.
Right.
No one knows about. And the stories have to be told. We have to get it out there. And that's my main purpose, to know he existed.
Yeah, I'm really big on legacy. What do you leave behind? What did you do while you had this time on Earth? And that's one thing that you can leave your legacy behind, and the next 4 or 5 generations can always go back and say, "Hey, this is what he did. This is how he helped me out.
Yeah,
If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be this right now. Unions, this,
right.
that." Right.
Right. People had to fight hard for that. He was dismissed a lot. We didn't have the right to apply for certain jobs
Right.
other than housekeeping, janitorial,
Hmm.
mechanics. Okay. We had to write a letter asking for permission with Southwestern Bell, AT&T, which is where he integrated to get that position. And the only way he could get that is become president, elected by the people of color for that position, and then ask for meetings, ask the right to have meetings. And the conversations were really derogatory uh, for a bit. So he didn't
Like
want me saying a lot.
you're asking just to ask to get just to ask.
Just to ask for better. Can I get this job like so and so? I even have more education than so and so. Can I
Yeah,
get that?
I
No,
can finish.
because you're colored.
I could finish it faster. He's taking a long time. I see a different way of doing it. Do you mind if I explain it to you? No, like yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Yes, sir.
So then now when you go out and you see someone in the new generation, the younger generation,
Mhm.
and you hand them this book, what do you feel?
Oh, I feel so proud and happy. It's like I feel my dad's emotions when I do that, that he is happy and proud of it and thankful. And he hopes that all his grandchildren and great grandchildren will know and will be part of that fight that still exists, that they will take part and stand up as well, not
Right.
be afraid of that. Mhm.
Okay. Well, listen, let's have some fun on this. I want to have some fun with you. It is time. Let's
Uh-oh.
go.
What song we having?
It's now called rapid fire. I'm just going to rapid fire some questions at you, and I just want to get to know you better, because if I get to know you better, I think I can get to know your father a little bit better in the book, just for the personality that you are. All right, so here we go.
Okay.
You get to pick. What do you want? A, B, C, or D?
A.
Okay, we're gonna go with A. Now, 2 minutes is gonna go on the clock. You're gonna see the 2 minutes on the clock. Now, you can elaborate on your answers, but remember, we gotta get through all of them, and you only got 2 minutes. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 2 minutes is now. What's your favorite drink?
Water with lemon
When are you most productive?
in the mornings.
What inspires you, and quickly why?
Life inspires me. Nature, watching birds, it just makes me feel more grateful to
Okay,
be here. Mhm.
summer or winter? Oh, forget that. I got that answer.
Oh, you wrong for that.
What is happening right now in your life that you're excited about?
The book promotion and spending time with my grandson at the track.
There you go. The favorite number and why?
I don't have a favorite number. I need to just pick one.
Yeah, anyone comes to your mind.
One. I won't be number one, and whatever I do, I want to excel and do my best.
There you go. Favorite cake?
German chocolate
How do you start your day?
with prayer.
What was the worst subject in school?
Geometry.
What was your favorite subject in school?
Writing.
There you go. And last one's real quick. If
Mhm.
you could meet anybody, past and present, real quick, who would it be and why?
Ooh, so many. I want to meet Martin Luther King because he was an inspiration and my father admired him, as well as John F. Kennedy.
There you go. You made it with 25 seconds on the clock.
Really? Oh my God. What I get?
So let me ask you this. You
Uh-huh.
said you wake up, you start your day with prayer. How big is prayer to you in this journey?
It's top priority in my life. My prayer life is important. It helps solidify me and give me guidance, and I ask for wisdom so I know what things to do. So yeah, I don't get out the bed before I pray. No, I'm thankful, and I have to say I'm thankful, Lord, for your grace, your mercy, in covering me. It's top priority for me.
Okay, and you said inspiration is a key thing to you. Did you get that inspiration before you wrote that book, or did you just get it more after the book?
Oh, I was inspired before because it inspired me to write. And then it continued during. So it just hasn't stopped, actually. It hasn't stopped. It's like really a driving force.
Yeah, and I guess because I asked you what's your favorite number, and you said number one because you want to get it to number one. You want to get it out there, let everybody know it's all there.
Yes, yes. Read about that history. Definitely.
All right, so we're gonna help you get it to number one. Where can everybody find it? Where can they go and get the book?
You can search, and it's out there. It's everywhere. I would say number one, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Author House. But when you Google, you'll see Reverend Dr. L.E. Bennett or just L.E. Bennett. But the book is Jewel of the South. There's some press releases out, articles, things like that. So shouldn't be hard to find.
All right, you get an ebook, hardcover and soft cover as well. Yes. Go get your copy. Support. This is a great book. The knowledge in there, and it'll take you back to your family. This is something to help you ask you questions about your family. Where are you guys from? What did you do growing up? Ask your grandmother, your mom, your dad, your great grandma, aunts and uncles. Our history is key, and if we don't know our history, we don't know where we're coming from and where we're going. Because the new generation needs to know. Hey, did you know your grandfather made this? Did you know that we used to do this? You got this in you. Always find out a little bit more about it. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to say hi to or shout out to or talk about the book?
Always. I want to say hello to my family and friends from Texas and in the Atlanta metro area, especially from Sam Houston High School. Whoop, whoop. I want to challenge people to not just think, oh, I'm going to get it. Get the book. Support. We go online, we buy everything else from people we don't even know, and we need to support our people. Actually get the book and then leave a review. The reviews are important.
There you go. Check out her website and also go straight to the book right there.
Yeah.
You can, like we said, support right there. Go get it, type it in, buy name, and get it right there.
Yes.
All right. Listen, it's been an honor and pleasure to have you on this show. Thank you. It was fun. I hope that pure success to you. Number one bestseller. We're going to get it there for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Not a problem. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Like I always say, you didn't have to watch, but I'm so glad that you did. This is your time. It's time to say to somebody, hey, what's your history? Let's get to know it together. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice. The opinions contained within are solely those of the interviewers and interviewees and should be received as so. Those seeking help or advice are encouraged to obtain professional legal and medical services.